Come on in. Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Wednesday. It has been a Wednesday, but I'm so happy we're talking to Dr. Mayberry. Am I saying it right?
Mabry.
Mayberry.
Mm-hmm.
Today because this is all it's Men's Health Month. It is Men in Business Month here at GABCC. A lot of you guys have had the opportunity to participate with a lot of our events, but we wanted to make sure we highlighted a doctor and talk about mental health today and kind of share some tips for mental health since it's Men's Health Month as well. And we themed June kind of Man in Business Month, Men's Health Month now that we're aware of that. And now we're going to be talking to these tips. So, Dr. Mayberry, and am I saying that right? I want to say, make sure I'm saying right.
Mabry.
Mabry. Thank you, Dr. Mabry. Um, what I guess first of all, give your background, tell us what you do, give us a little introduction to who we're listening to. I'm gonna do a couple more things while you
Oh,
do that.
okay.
Okay.
So my name is Dr. Marshall Mabry, hail from Atlanta, Georgia. Recently just moved here. Next month will be next week actually be 2 years of my family and I've been in the CSRA. And so been in mental health for like over about 15 years or so now. I'm working for the state of Georgia, also working with working in school systems. And so my passion is men's health, working with young adults as well, especially those who are coming out from being, I guess, incarcerated and different situations like that. So yeah, I'm just glad to be here. And thank you so much, President West, for the opportunity. Like I said, I guess off screen, you guys are doing some tremendous things in the city. Y'all rocking and rolling underneath your leadership. And so, any way you can use me, please. I'm only a phone call away.
Okay, well, thank you. I think let's get right into it.
Okay.
I know that mental health is a taboo topic in our
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
still is.
Yeah.
And I think first, why should mental health be important to folks?
Well, let me just acquiesce for a second. I think mental health is taboo is because we make it so. In the African American community, we are known as being the strong ones. You know, we have the stigma. Many people have the stigma of being a strong black woman or the resilient black man, and I think that kind of nomenclature becomes a place where we take on stuff, but we don't know how to give it back up. We're constantly ingesting the hurt from the world, what's happening around us, um, classism, sexism, racism, and we just learn how to deal. And unfortunately, we come from a people who, due to 400 years of slavery, we didn't have the luxury to go sit on someone's couch and just say, I feel depressed, or I'm feeling anxiety. We just kept moving forward. And I think even right now, we have a culture of people who just say, you know what, I'll deal with it later. I feel some kind of way. I got the case of the Mondays or something like that, or today just, I feel some kind of way because we don't know how to quantify what we're really feeling. So mental health is so important because, you have a financial planner or a banker to check on your financial health. Mental, you go to the doctor to check on your physical health. Why not do something for yourself? And so I want to kind of like set the record straight about mental health and why it's so important, not just for our community as a whole, but especially for Black men.
So I know we have a couple people that's coming on the live now. Be sure to share this out as we have this conversation. This is really going to be a conversational interview, a huge topic of mental health. So if you have any questions for the doctor while we have him, go ahead and drop them in the chat and we'll get to those as well. But I think, when you said that black, what do you say, strong black woman,
Mm-hmm.
I despise that term.
Oh, listen, you're not the you. We are the only culture that has attached that adjective to it. You don't hear you're a strong Latino woman. It's always a strong Black woman. But then the flip side is, I guess the other side of the coin is that when you have to be strong or too far to the left of being strong,
Mhm.
then you become too assertive. Then you become the B word. And so we want to find a balancing act of being strong, but yet you got to be strong and soft at the same time.
Right.
And so right now, I watch things on social media. People say stuff like, I'm in my soft season. Well, what does that mean?
Mhm.
You can't be soft and strong at the same time. And I think oftentimes we come in a place where we're meant to be strong. Nobody really wants to be strong all the time, but we're made to be. Situations we play. I guess sometimes we put ourselves in situations, things happen, and we're like, you know what? I got to do it. I got to show up. I got to show up for me if don't nobody else do it for me. And we oftentimes, unfortunately, we don't have the safety net that other people do. You know, we don't. I just told somebody today, I didn't have the safety net of, well, if I flunk out of school, my parents can just give me a job. No, sir. My parents told me, you flunk out of school, you going to the military. So, you know, you got one or two options. Like you got to make it
Right.
do it do. And that's one of those things where we are unfortunately we're overtaken by the things that happen in our culture. You know, we are systematically silenced, unfortunately. And
Hmm.
we learn how to soldier through. And I think that's something we really have to kind of um decompress and deconstruct overall, especially as a people.
Right. I agree. I agree. And even with the black man, it is truly, because this is a man's health topics. I ain't gonna stick on a strong black woman too long. We'll have to do
You're
another
fine.
conversation for that. And why I despise that term. But when it comes to man, it's a lot of things where they have not been able to either share their emotions or talk about it, or is ignored because they have to be the provider or take care of this, and that, and cannot get the assistance that's needed. And so, as you kind of gave us just that prelude, what is some suggestions that you would say start first to
Mhm.
navigate, either trying to have let's start with healthy mental health 1st.
Right, right. Well, I say the first thing is you got to identify your triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they taught us in school there was a thing called epigenesis, and basically an epigenesis is where you have a root cause of something and it attaches itself to other parts of your life. And so there are so many men. I don't want to just talk about black men. There's so many men who have traumas and anxiety from just various things that have happened to them in the past, or people preparing you in the world saying, "Listen, when you go into the workforce, you cannot be the angry black man. You can't look like everybody else because you may scare people. So now you want to be cautious of what you wear, how you say certain things, your demeanor, your stance, your posture, because if you're too dark, you're too big, you're too loud, we scare people.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that doesn't happen to anybody else. So I'm always in my mind, just as a black man, thinking, am I too close to people? Can I be a little soft? Is my voice too deep? And so you have to address where you are, where your disconnects. Um, I'm a huge comic book fan, and one of the things I know is about comic books, most superheroes have two things going for them. They have a secret identity, and they have a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
They always have an identity. And I wonder, is that secret identity to protect those around them or to protect themselves? Because oftentimes we don't think about this. It's very easy for the lines to get blurred. You
Mm-hmm.
know, husband, father, provider, um, I don't know, educator, teacher, whatever. We're constantly taking on hats, take on and off. So I'm this job for 2 hours and that one for 3 hours. So at some point you get to a place you realize, do I even know who I am anymore? I got to sit with myself and go back to say, when and where have I been the most happiest? I mean, I mentioned early on superheroes, they have a secret identity. The second thing is they have a safe space. Batman has the Batcave.
Mm-hmm.
Superman has the Fortress of Solitude. Even the Black Panther, who's my absolute favorite, when he got done fighting everybody, he retreated back to Wakanda. Most men don't have a safe space. Where do they retreat to? So oftentimes when we don't have a safe space, we retreat inwardly. I love that thing of a man cave, but it's great to have a man cave. But if you're not careful, it's very easy to retreat within yourself and not be willing and open to talk to other people. So we got to get to a place we can talk to other people. There's nothing wrong with just saying, hey, I feel some kind of way. I feel exhausted. I feel tired. I feel unappreciated. But we have to be willing to break down that, I guess, that code of silence that says, black men don't talk or men don't talk. Because honestly, we walk around as wounded healers. We're silent practitioners. We want to be able to be there for everybody else, but we're not there for ourselves. And unfortunately, How can you fix what's wrong or seek help if you don't say anything? So that's one of the first tips I would give anybody. You gotta find out why are you getting triggered the first of every month. Is it because you realize that you have given your all to everybody else, but then you have nothing left for yourself? Maybe you're triggered every time you see someone a phone call from somebody. Maybe it's somebody an employee or a friend, and you realize in your mind, okay, every time they call, they want money. Maybe it's an ex lover or someone you're in a relationship with, and you're triggered because every time they call, reminds you about how you maybe fumbled the ball in that relationship. What are those things that are constantly attaching themselves to you and becoming triggers for your stress level? Another thing is, how do we handle our stress? On most men, I'm the same way. I was taught that we don't talk about things, we just work through it. As long as the family's good, as long as the bills are being paid, as long as the community speaks well of you, then everything is okay. But are you speaking well of yourself? Are you a safe space for you? Are you talking good to yourself? Are you in love with yourself? It's good to be in love with other people and other things, but are you in love with yourself? Have you given yourself enough grace to say, you know what, we made a mistake. We did some things in our youth that we shouldn't have done, or maybe we need to go back and apologize to some people. Real healing means addressing those things in my past, my present, and even my future. So I gotta address. If I don't address it, if I don't face it, I can't fix it.
So yeah, you hit on so much, and I just kind of put the spotlight on you. So I was still here in the background, but you were touching on so many topics. I wanted you to, for people to hear you, and somebody already wrote right, so they feel it
Oh,
what you're saying.
wow.
But what I kind of got from it was safe space,
Hmm.
understanding your triggers. I think the first of one is an ideal one where you have the responsibility to take care of the whole household, and sometimes the household doesn't appreciate it. Just feel like that's just your job as a man, and I
Yeah,
always
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like they're underappreciated.
yeah. And we have, and I say this not in jest, and I actually said this
Mhm.
to my wife recently. Father's Day is almost like, I heard people say it's like the worst holiday because people actually plan on what
Mhm.
they're gonna do for their mom.
Right.
We taking mom out to dinner, mama gets a new car, we taking mom on a trip, and yet dad gets socks, he gets ties, he gets a steak dinner.
Right.
What are you saying to this man that you said we love and we honor? And unfortunately, we don't celebrate him on the same magnitude, the same level as we do mom. Because I don't care if dad was not there. If you're a two-parent household, listen, it takes two to make one. Okay, so no matter the situation, we have to be willing to say, "I'm gonna celebrate you for just sometimes being you." If nothing else, I've learned to give people. I used to give my mother a gift on my birthday. I was like, "Hey, thank you for giving me life. Let's even though you're gonna celebrate me, I'm gonna celebrate you as well." And so, most men walk around with a lot of stress that they do not talk about. We're not
Mhm.
taught. We are not taught as men. I don't know if you have a son. I have a son. We're not taught as men to address our feelings. I have a son. I have 5 daughters, and I've noticed with my daughters, I'm a completely different person than with my son. My daughters can fall, and I'm rushing over to be the savior, to pick them up, to coddle them, to protect them from the world. They know that daddy would go to bat for them. I'll fight Michael Myers, Jason, and Freddy Krueger for my girls. But for our sons, my son can fall, and I'm like, come on, man, man up, toughen up. So what messages are we expressing to our young men that you cannot have emotions, you can't cry, you can't feel sadness only if someone has died or you're being hurt immensely. We always got to toughen up. And so when you're telling somebody to keep toughening up, but then you go on the phone, the irony is, I want you to be soft. Well, what do you want from me? You want to be tough, you want to be soft. Like I don't know how to code switch back and forth, and it's hard for most men because that's why women will say things like, "What's on your mind?" And his response is nothing, because the thing is, it's something and everything at the same time. I just don't know how
Mhm.
to kind of zero in and focus on one particular thing at the same time. and give voice to what I'm going through and feeling.
Wow. Look, the other part I was gonna say, you said in love with yourself too. I don't think I hear a lot. You know, you always hear about women being pushed to be in love with yourself, but you also mentioned that. We have a couple more comments. Somebody said, "I wish the man in my life would hear this." Somebody else said, "This is good."
Oh,
So
thank you so
this
much.
is a much needed conversation, and here at the chamber, yes, we are a business organization, but what we have learned from working with Black and minority businesses for the years that we have, social economic issues impact our business owners. Mental health is one of the top ones, whether people want to admit it or not. So we always are having the mental health and the health conversations interjected into us supporting the business owners, because that is part of support. And
It is, and people
yeah.
don't understand. I need somebody to undergird me. Um, I want to say something else, but I want to know, make sure this is a safe space. Like, I'm
Mhm.
not being fun when I say this. I'm a business owner, and I used to own an event planning company.
Mhm.
So I started my business partner. We started our event planning company. We would do weddings. We did weddings, birthday parties, so on and so forth. I can't tell you how many times I went to a bridal show and people would pass my booth because they recognized that I was the owner of the company,
Mhm.
and go to somebody else and willing to pay them double and triple my asking price because they felt like that me as a Black male, I didn't know what I was talking about. Or as a Black person, I wasn't gonna be able to really do a job, to the certain level of excellence. So what we learned how to do is, and I hate to say we did this, but it's the truth. We found someone that could be the face of the company. I hired a young lady, a young Caucasian young lady, who became the face of the company. They would speak to her, and I would just take the orders and stuff like that for the wedding. And we were very successful because for some reason, people felt comfortable talking to her, more comfortable talking to her than they did talking to me. And I started to realize that made me feel, it broke my heart because it's my dream, my vision, but yet I can be the face of what I'm going through. I can be the face of my own family. I can be the face of my community because everybody may not accept me. So that's
Wow.
one of the things that most Black men don't talk about. Here's a second thing I give those who are watching. Healing happens in community. If a man, I tell
Mhm.
couples this all the time, if a man does not have a community, he's not talking to anybody. If he's not talking to anybody, he's probably talking to himself. And so, how can I heal me if I'm the problem? My favorite movie, and like I said, I'm a huge Marvel fan. My favorite movie is the Black Panther. I kid you not, I've seen it about 20 times. If you notice, one of the opening scenes of that movie, it's Challenge Day. I don't know if you remember this saying. T'Challa is fighting to be, the real king of Wakanda. He's losing. He's losing the battle to M'Baku, somebody that's larger than him, stronger than him, has more powers than him. His mother says, "Show him who you are." I don't know if that triggers something in his brother. He all of a sudden he's turning flips. He's flipped this man on his back, and he wins the fight. Now, what hit me in is very interesting in that scene because he realized I can't lose in front of my people, in front of my mother, my
Mhm.
sister, and my lover. Most men don't want to fail in front of their community. So we go outside every single day knowing that you are exhausted, you need a break, but we just keep pushing ourselves through. We overeat. We go to, we go and just, well, I just need another cup of coffee. So you grabbing coffee to kind of get you through the day. You're not eating healthy.
Mhm.
You just grabbing food to ingest, but you're not really allowing things to feed your spirit and feed your body. So if you're really going to be healed, you got to find yourself a community, not necessarily therapy, because we go to the barbershop. Come
Mhm.
on, sisters, y'all go to the beauty salon. Y'all know everything. You know all the good gossip. you know, you know all the tea. You know what's happening because I need to be around a village of people who understand who I am.
Wow. That, I mean, I put healing happens in community. That was such
Yeah,
a powerful statement in itself. And I think sometimes when you think about community, a lot of people may think, because of social media, think about you got to have hundreds and hundreds of people. A
mhm.
community could be two or three confidants.
That's it. That's it.
That's community.
Yeah.
And
Most of us only have five good friends, five
right.
real friends. Like
Hmm.
I got five friends, and everybody else just folk that I know. You just you just an
Right.
assumption. I mean, like folk that you can really like that you don't have to put on with. You can go to your house, chill out. use bad grammar if you want to. You can
Mhm.
use ebonics. Your subject and verb don't have to agree. You can be yourself, and they'll still be your friend. Versus someone that's only your friend because they want to get something from you, or be willing to drop your name or say, "Well, I'm a member of the chamber because I know so and so." No, are we a real community where we can do business with each other?
Right.
I can speak life into you when you've been out on the battlefield of life and got knocked around. Where does my healing take place?
Right. I agree. I agree. I think one other question I had was, you covered so much, and we had a wow too in the comment section now at this point. Um, the next question I have for you: if you have a mental health issue, how should you begin to address it? What are your tips
Wow.
on that?
Wow, good question. If you have a mental health issue, I always say, talk to somebody. Find a confidant, somebody that's not going to be not a judgment-free zone. Find someone you say, listen, I'm feeling something. I feel like I'm gonna maybe be self-harm. I'm having moments where I don't feel like myself. People say, well, I know what self-care is. I get my hair done all the time, or I go to the barbershop, I get my nails done. That is not self-care. That's grooming. Okay. Getting your hair done is not self-care. I know it makes you feel good. I know you feel like a wonderful person. You got a couple of bundles in and stuff like that. Your edges is laid and snatched, your makeup is beat. I understand that. That is not self-care. Self-care means learning when to tell someone or others no, and not feeling bad for saying no. Self-care, and when you feel like that you're being stretched too thin, learning when to take space for yourself. I never understood why we feel guilty. I'm going to give somebody permission today. If you're watching this and you say, I don't know what's going on, I'm giving you permission to take a break. I'm giving you permission to say, I know you may say, well, I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I'm this and the other. Okay, wonderful. Take you some time, get your hotel room, lock yourself in a room, get you some DoorDash, lay in your bed and watch Bridgerton, whatever you like to do, whatever brings you back to your center, whatever gets you back to your core. Do something for yourself. We live in a community and a culture where we're always doing something from sun up to sundown. We're always stressing, we're always moving, we're always striving. Take time for yourself. Find someone you can sit with. Maybe it's a member of clergy. Maybe it's a good friend that you know is going to be honest with you and not hold judgment against you. But you gotta find somebody to talk to. As a matter of fact, I think in our community, I can't think of the number off top right now, but if you're having issues, there's a number I can't think of right now that you can call and be immediately connected with a mental health provider, someone that can assist you to say, listen, let's talk this through. If you feel like you're doing harm, going to do harm to yourself, or whatever the case may be, let's find you some help as soon as possible. There's no sense of you waiting to the next day and stressing yourself out trying to be what other people need you to be, but you're not being there for yourself. So that's my one go-to. Learning when to just sit with your own self.
You. I think that's so important, right? To learn like a lot of the things you said. The Western world culture, what keeps us booked and busy, but I'm all about well rested and
Booked
well
and busy.
scheduled.
Yes.
Look, I say well rested, rest scheduled is what we need to get to.
Well,
Um,
you said something today that really blessed me. You said I have a
mhm,
hard stop at 6 o'clock. That blessed me. I'm gonna tell you because so many people. If, I don't know. I'm not gonna date. I'm
right.
not date myself. I'm
Look,
not
and
gonna.
my stop got moved, so that's why we're still
Right.
on. Yes.
We're gonna just push it back just a little bit.
Yeah.
I grew up in the age. I'm an '80s baby
Uh-huh.
when I remember when the television going off. And the TV off
Yeah.
at a certain time, and all you
Mm-hmm.
heard was the Star Spangled Banner. You heard snow,
Yeah.
and so you knew, hey, I don't know what's gonna happen. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
At a certain point, even on the radio, all the hip hop, R&B songs start playing, and they would play gospel for the next few hours.
Yep.
But in our culture now, it's always go, 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 go. And how many of us spend hours scrolling on social media?
Mm.
How many times can we scroll? Like seriously, you spend 3 hours on TikTok watching other folk live life, but you don't live yours. You'll spend hours cropping pictures and finding the right face to match your AI picture to put on Facebook. I just called somebody out right now to get on Facebook and Instagram because honestly, you really don't even like the picture. You want the likes. You want somebody to comment on the picture. So now you have somebody to talk to. We're struggling. We're so far apart technologically that we're still striving for community. And that's one thing the pandemic taught us, that community is very, very important. Everybody is an essential worker.
Right.
So yeah, those are really things that we got to sit back and sit with ourselves on.
Yeah, I think, the studies are showing that since social media has been interacted into society, and because it is like no cutoffs and stuff, especially in the Western world or in our country, it has really impacted community
Yeah.
and conflict resolution and our ability to communicate with each other. It's gonna be interesting to see how things continue to turn out, but a lot of therapists and mental health doctors are coming out and saying, hey, social media is really impacting us in the worst way at this point.
Oh my goodness. I was in a conference last year and the therapist did a whole presentation on
Mm-hmm.
social media and millennials, well, teenagers actually. And
Mm-hmm.
she had the what do you call it, the CAT scan brain mapping of a child who spent 2 or 3 hours, sometimes about 4 to 5 hours on social media and on electronics, and compared it to that person who was coming off of crack cocaine, and they mirrored each other. It is addictive. I mean, it's the same. They go through withdrawal.
Mm.
I have a 5-year-old daughter. When she doesn't have her tablet for so long, she's begging, please, you make deals. These are the same symptoms that we see with somebody who is withdrawing from cocaine, heroin, and so on and so forth, because we feel that we need it. I need my computer. I need social media. You don't need it. There was many of us, we understand, if you 70s, 80s babies and 90s, there was a world before social media. We had to learn how to talk to people. Okay. I've seen people on dates sitting across from each other and both of them on their phone. We could have did this at the house. Like we didn't have to go all the way to Ruby Tuesday
Uh-huh.
or Applebee's or whatever, just for me to sit. You look at me play on my phone, and that's, come on. We gotta learn how to interact with each other. Our young people have no social skills. They will go places. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She and her friends will be sitting right next to each other and text each other instead of talking to each other.
Wow.
So our communication has been broken down. Those mile markers that we need as an adult, we don't have those anymore, because I can easily address a friend. Well, let me stop right there and say this. We can have better relationships with people on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok who we've never seen before, and not talk to people that you see every day. You work with somebody in the cubicle every single day. You have a neighbor that you've lived next to for 5 years, and you may not even know their name.
Yep.
Outside of, you see them, y'all outside at the same time, you're like, hey, how you doing? I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. I do it as well.
Yeah.
So we have that level of community has altered. I mean, social media, that understanding of community has shifted us in such a dramatic way.
It has. It definitely has, and it's impacting, especially America as a whole. And one thing I've been saying a lot more lately, is that, like, man, we gotta get back to community. I don't know how that happens, but it is. I see it impacting not only youth, adults, teens. I'm seeing it impact everyone at this point.
When and why did we stop doing family reunions? Isn't that
Everybody
crazy?
too busy.
Everybody, wow.
That's what I
Come
say.
on.
Everybody's so
Come on.
busy, and the family, like the matriarch or the patriarch has passed away. Because I know that's what happened in my family. Once the
Yeah.
patriarch head and the matriarch head passed, our matriarch passed away before our patriarch did. Once our
Yeah.
patriarch passed away, it definitely stopped.
So,
Um,
okay, you mentioned something. So, if that's the case, that means those persons are the glue. They were the ones that kept the family together. Big Mama had a Bible with everybody's
yeah,
birthday in there, who got married, so on and so forth. That was the glue. But the thing that hits me hard in my spirit is that the next generation, we need to step up. Like,
mm-hmm.
you can see people. I've seen nieces and nephews graduate, people get married and so on and so forth. And I was just telling my wife, I don't want those celebratory moments of our lives to only or reconnect with people only to be at funerals.
Yep.
Like children need to know their cousins. You need to know your first, second, third, fourth cousin. Because if not, you may end up dating one. I mean, just keep it 100. Because you never know. You're like, oh, because they don't ask questions anymore. Like, girl,
Right.
who your people? We used to ask stuff like that. So I just know, oh, she cute, he cute. We both swipe right on Tinder, whatever the case may be. And next thing you know, you realize you dating your cousin. You like, dude, we didn't have those conversations.
Mhm.
So we have got to get back to a sense of community and stop being so afraid to talk to people.
Yep, yep. I agree. I agree. So I want to respect your time. Of course, we're at 6:10, but is there anything else you want to share around mental health topics for men this evening before we get ready to wrap up?
Yeah, I'm gonna say one thing, and it's so important. Set boundaries.
Mm.
N- uh, Saying no is a whole sentence. Okay. Uh, Set boundaries around your time. Set boundaries around your space. Set boundaries around your personhood. It's okay to leave a place or to not go to a place because you don't feel like you're going to be welcome there. I don't mean just by the crowd. I mean that something you have anxiety. If going to certain places creates anxiety within you, then maybe you don't need to go. If certain being around certain people creates frustration and trepidation amongst you, maybe you don't need to be there. You need to be around people who can support you as a whole person. Okay. Um, Finding your village. I love that term. Finding your village, finding your tribe, finding your voice, finding those persons that can support who you're going to be and who you are right now. It does not happen overnight. But what I need you to understand is when you set boundaries, when you learn to take care of yourself, when you learn to do for yourself, and when you learn to put you first, put yourself in the forefront. You'll be surprised what happens next. You'll be surprised how your life transitions. You'll be surprised how better you feel. A few months ago, I'm on a health journey and I've lost 75 pounds over the last few months. It's because I got tired of seeing my friends my age, I'm 44, transition from bad eating. I got tired of seeing my friends and people who are older than me transition because they were stressed out. I got tired of seeing people say, well, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. And yet you go by and buy more Krispy Kreme donuts and you eat more fast food. Once you set that boundary of this is who I am, this is what I need to be, and this is how I plan to get there, your life will take a tremendous shift and tremendous turn. I believe that you can do it. Like I said, find people, create your own community. Family is not always those persons that you share DNA with, your X or Y chromosome. It's not always those persons that you share a last name with. Your community are those persons that will support and undergird you. I keep saying that because it's so important in our society right now. So, last and finally, know that you are loved, you are affirmed, you are appreciated. If nobody else tells you this, I want to tell you, I love you to life, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Look, Dr. Mabry, this has been absolutely wonderful. We gotta
Thank you
have
so
you
much.
back. We you may have to
Thank
be
you
a
so
regular.
much.
Oh, we gotta talk offline, but yeah, you just this. I think this was such a needed conversation. If you watch this, later on, etc., share this with someone. Share this with the man in your life, because you never know what they may be dealing with. Because a lot of times they're silent. And if they don't feel like it's a safe space, if you're not their safe space, they are not going to tell you.
Not at all.
Not at all. So I would say definitely save this, share this out so other people can hear it for sure. Dr. Mabry, is there a way that they can contact you just in case they want to reach out to you? I want to give you the opportunity to give your information out if that's the case.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And you can find me on my Facebook and Instagram, Marshall Mabry, same name. It's on both pages, as well as my website. It's marshallmabry.com. You can find me, you can book appointments. We actually have a few workshops coming up in the latter part of the year as well. So if I could do something to support, and you can buy my books as well. I'm an author of 4 books. My first book was called 10 Things Your Man Won't Tell You. That's going to be important for somebody. The second is called Who Packed Your Bag? That's about unpacking the burdens of relationship through from trauma to trust. And the last book that is really important to me is my book on autism. It's a children's book, and the book is called I'm Not Weird, I Have Autism. You can find it on my website, but you can also find them on Amazon.com. Just type my name in. So thank you so much to the chamber. You guys have blessed me tremendously. Don't be surprised you see me at your next meeting. I'm gonna slide in, being incognito, my sunglasses on or something like that.
We
But
would
I'm
love to
definitely
have
going to
you.
support you guys. I believe in what you're doing. I really do.
Yeah, so we'll be sure to edit the title and put your website in there for anybody who wants to contact Dr. Mabry. This has been a wonderful session on during Men's Health Month and about tips for mental health. I think everybody can get nuggets from this, but we wanted to make sure our men got nuggets today and be able to contact a Black doctor if they need someone to talk to, Black male doctor. I think that's so important so that you can really relate to what they may have going on. Again, thank you so much. Again, guys, if you want to connect with the chamber, just go to our website at www.mygabc.org. Remember, we are one community and one voice, and I bid you a good day.